What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Tottenham Online, our very first video ever, and it comes after a 2-1 defeat to Leicester. As we see here, just the league has been horrible. I'm so apathetic towards the league. Like I don't really care anymore. 2-1 Leicester, 3-2 to Everton, 2-1 to Arsenal. But at least, in the Cups, Carabao, FA Cup, beating Tamworth, beating Hoffenheim. We have Elf this Thursday at 3, so I think we win that. That's at home. I think you take that easy and just move on and have to skip those, or get to skip those two play-in games, which I think is huge for us given the injuries. Van de Ven hopefully coming back soon. Romero coming back soon. Adogi, Vakar, it's unreal the injuries we've had this year, man. Unreal. So even looking at the rest of the league, I'm not bothered. And I have some notes here from the game, and one of them is literally right here at the bottom. People always talk about, you see on Twitter, all right, the fantasy scenario. Oh, Tottenham fans, would you take 15th place in the league if it meant, winning Europa or winning Carabao or winning FA Cup? Well, that's kind of where we are. So if we're going to be 15th in the league, hopefully we can at least fulfill that scenario and close out versus Liverpool or get through the FA Cup, or like I said, we're on our way to skipping those playing games in Europa. So something, please. So if that can happen, I'm fine with just not caring. Honestly, using the Premier League as long as we're not getting relegated, using it as kind of rest for the players. Using it as getting experience for Mikey Moore, getting experience for, Kinski and all those guys. But man, it really sucks just not caring about Premier League. Look at this. 15th. We're what are we? 8 points out of relegation. I think that's out of the question. Anyone talking about relegation is just trying to farm at this point. But top four, top five. I think obviously Premier League's getting that fifth Champions League spot this year, and of course it's this year and not last year when we were in fifth. But we're 17 points out of that. It's over. So does it really matter if we go from 15th to 12th or to 10th or to even 8th? To me, that doesn't really matter. So I'm kind of, like I said, I'm apathetic on that. I think we, away to Brentford, they're one of the best teams in the league at home. Away to Liverpool, obviously literally the best team in the league. Away to Aston Villa at the Emirates. Or I guess Carabao, I'm sorry. The Liverpool is the Carabao Cup, so it's not the league. So I think these two are where you really want to focus on. Obviously, Liverpool taking a 1-0 lead into that. Hopefully we have Romero and Van de Ven back. I think hopefully, it's hard to say to shell up with this team. I'm not sure it's possible to park the bus and shell up. I think we're going to have to score probably 2 goals if we're going to outright win the tie without having to go to extra time or having to go to penalties. So I think you kind of have to score 2 goals because Liverpool obviously is going to score 1. There's no way you shut them out twice, especially going to Anfield. It's just not going to happen. So that's where the focus is, obviously, and then away to Aston Villa for FA Cup. Aston Villa has been a lot better. They're not a team that particularly scares me, but I think it really depends what happens with the Carabao Cup. If we win and we go to the final, and most likely we're facing Newcastle, because I don't see really Arsenal, especially with their injuries. I think Odegaard went off injured. Saka's going to be done probably for the year, is what it's looking like. So I think that's really our best chance. And if you're a Spurs fan and you're not celebrating a Carabao Cup title like you would a Premier League, then where have you been? Because any trophy for us at this point is massive. Liverpool, when they won the Carabao Cup, they were going crazy. And they've won leagues, they've won Champions League, so people are going to say it's a fake trophy. They're going to say this and that, but Arsenal are talking about the Community Shield being a trophy. So I would be more than happy to win that. Like I said, FA Cup. And then we'd go into a run of Premier League. we have Man United's number, but again, it's just like I don't really care. Like you want to win games, I would love to beat Man United. I just they're the fan base that I just love to see cry. They're so spoiled and so entitled, and I would just love to see, so there are certain games like that, but I mean the rest of this means nothing to me. So we'll see. Going into Europa, we have some team news here. Doesn't let you click on it. There we go. But yeah, I think that's the focus. Europa on Thursday, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, obviously. League, if you're really getting too worked up about the league anymore, I don't know what to tell you. We're not going to get relegated. We're not going anywhere. We're going to sit from 12th to 15th, most likely. But yeah, here's some team news to close out. I don't have a lot to say. I mean, we could go over some match reaction from Leicester, but the apathy is really getting to me. I have some notes about it. I think going forward, maybe talking some stuff over will be good for us in the long run about what I'm seeing on the field, what I think the players really need to do better, the system, So we can go over that, but Richarlison was troubled by a groin injury in Sunday, obviously. I mean, we knew that. That's why he's taken off. I mean, everyone thinks it's rest, but if you think this man's getting through even half a game without getting injured, I just don't. I don't understand what happens to some of these players. We were talking about Man United earlier. Luke Shaw just consistently injured Mason Mount on the same club. Just there's certain guys that are just I think their body's just shot. Like I would if I was Luke Shaw, if I was Mason Mount, I would just retire. Just retire, man. Get into punditry, get into doing some ads in UK TV or something like that. I don't know what you're grinding for. You're just grinding rehab constantly to play 30 minutes every 6 months. I don't get it, man. Um, but I think he said there was some news here about Van de Ven. Here we go. Uh, so Ange said we'll see. There are definitely a couple getting close, Mickey and Cootie. They'll be training with the group, and even just having them in training is great. There are another couple who are not too far off on the horizon as well, so that will definitely help. Which is probably, I think Vicario's getting there. Odebear seems like he's been 2 weeks away for about a month, so you would assume he's probably getting close as well. Adogi, I haven't really heard too much about Adogi. Poro needs a goddamn break. Jed Spence is hurt. There's guys just they're sore. Like this is almost. I don't want to bring Man United up too much, but they just kind of have a team that quits. They have a team that once you get into that apathy stage in the league, guys are hurt all the time. Madison was out due to soreness. Madison hasn't been playing almost at all. He plays one full game, and all of a sudden he's out for soreness. I think you got to start questioning motivation. You got to start questioning these guys' real desire to get on the field and play for the team. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at with that. Hopefully, it's really the defense and Pape Manasar. I mean that's crazy. We have a guy playing hurt, and people are calling. Shouting out Ange Postecoglou for there's rotations that could have been happening to keep Pape off the field, but what are you gonna do, man? We just have so many. And here we go. Yeah, just going through the notes that I was taking kind of during Sunday. League doesn't matter. A little too far there. We went over that plenty of times. Poro, man, decision, and it's he's probably the most minutes out of any player this year, but I think a lot of it's just decision making. So you could say maybe a guy's exhausted to the point that his brain's not working properly, and he's just not making good decisions. It's like obviously the mental side of it. And anyone who's played sports knows that you can really get mentally drained, and you're just kind of out of it. So I think that's probably part of it. That cross where he took the shot into the side netting when he had a chance to cross it perfectly for a couple players who were in the box. Just bad crosses, bad passing, bad defense, bad. He always leaves the far post wide open. I'm not sure if it's a tactical decision. I'm not sure if it's a coaching thing. He's being told to kind of suck into the middle to help out to clog up the middle of it. But there's just always a guy on the back post wide open. So teams now are just pulling our back four to one side and launching the ball to the back post, and there's almost always a guy wide open to catch the ball at his feet or to head the ball in. So just small adjustments like that are just small obvious mental errors that has just been going on all year. How you've not fixed that or adjusted that or talked about, I'm sure they've talked about it, but why is it still happening? I don't know. And going back into that, yeah, more poor passing solely on the players. Managing can never solve a problem like that. Obviously, the first thing you learn as a kid is those 5 yard passes, is those 10 yard passes, is kind of taking your time and scanning the field and finding the correct pass. We're just trying almost too hard to push the ball up the field, and maybe that's a signature of the Ange style. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know, but our passing was horrible. We're giving the ball away in our half of the field far too much. We're missing simple 5 yard passes. We're just giving the ball away when they're in and around the opponent's box. I don't get it, man. So that's a player's thing for me. A lot of people are jumping on Ange, and I think it's down to the players. I mean, I'm gonna make another video about the whole Ange thing and how I feel about that. So I don't want to get into that too much just because of a Leicester match. The other thing is we seem really lazy when we're being pressed. Players aren't getting open. They're not making themselves available quickly to the ball. We're kind of just in this set structure. We're in this set formation, and people aren't pulling out of that and making themselves available and getting into space and calling for the ball. I was watching Bournemouth the other day, and they're working so hard off the ball. You have guys getting open. The classic thing in football is you're seeing those triangles all over the field. That's what you want. That was tiki-taka with Barcelona. They always had three guys within range to be passing the ball back and forth, to make space, to get into space, to rotate, to move up the field, side to side if needed, whatever. We just don't have that. We don't have guys getting open. It's just, people get into the tired discussion. We've played a lot of games, this and that. We don't have a lot of rotation because of injuries. It's like Man City played more football than anyone when they won the treble. They played literally every game possible. And obviously they have rotation. They have a world-class squad from top to bottom. I think their second team could get top four, but at some point you got to just look at just effort and motivation at this point for the league. I'm sure the players are kind of feeling like I am towards the league, and that's why we put a huge performance in against Liverpool and kind of bombing the Premier League. So I think we're kind of getting to that point where it's like, is Maddison really hurt? I don't know. I think he's just trying to keep himself available for a couple weeks from now for Anfield. And this is kind of similar. I think this is more towards the offensive end. Players aren't getting open. They're not making runs. They're not getting into space. Kind of a similar note here. This is just an offensive end to the defensive end. So it's just, I think that's maybe where our creativity is lacking. I think that's why, the whole Ange system is goals, goals, goals. That's what we did at the beginning of last year. We're scoring 2, 3, 4 against everybody. And that's why our goal difference is really good, because we'll smack a team up, but then we'll lose by 1. But I think we're really losing their creativity. Like, we didn't really deserve 2 goals against Everton. We got 2 goals. Only 1 goal against a Leicester team who I think they said had given up 2 goals every game for the last 7 or 8 games. And you score once. I just think that creativity is not there. It comes down to a motivation and a work thing. If the team's not willing to work, to get open, to be creative, to put balls in the box, to make something happen, then it's not going to happen. It's simple as that. And then, yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Limited movement off the ball. You don't see guys rotating in. You don't see those triangles forming to give players options. People are just standing around. People seem locked in formation. Like, I'm the right wing, so I'm not allowed to move from right wing. Sometimes it's just all right to rotate into you know, like Harry Kane used to do it a lot all the time. He was a striker, but sometimes he was playing midfield. Sometimes he was playing CDM. Sometimes he was dropping back to goal to pick up the ball from the goalie and drive the ball up the field. So I think we just need more of that. That's basically it. I don't want to put too much into this game. Like I said, I'm just tired of the league, and I'm tired of I don't know. It's just too much. So I do really look forward to these European nights. This is the last one, hopefully, for a while, because I think we'll win this. I don't think they're going to give us much of a chance. I think we probably win 2-0, 3-1, something like that. We usually do give up a goal, so maybe a tight 2-1, maybe a 3-1 where we score something late to separate ourselves. Um, and then this Brentford game, use this as a rest. I don't want to see our starting 11 for the most part here. Use that as a rest. Go into the Thursday night, because that's a Sunday to Thursday. We've been doing that all year, and clearly it's tiring us out or causing injuries. So let's just take that Brentford game, throw it away. Who cares? We're not going to get relegated. We're not going to get top 5, 6, 7. It doesn't matter. We're not getting any European spots at all in the league. So I use that as a rest. Go into Carabao. Get to a final. So that's it for me. I think good first video. Be sure to like and subscribe. I can't even say it. That's how new we are. Like and subscribe. Comment down below kind of how you're feeling about the league, how you're feeling about Europe, all the tournaments we're in. We're in everything still. So there's something to look forward to at least. If we were just in Premier League, I think it'd be a really depressing season, but we're in everything besides the league. So that's something to hold on to. I'm really going to do a deep dive, I think, on the Ange Postecoglou question on Anjin, just spoiler, on Anjin. I think there's so many obvious reasons to be Anjin. There's so many, and I don't like excuses. There's so many reasons why we are where we are. And like I said, he still has us in everything. We're about to top 8 in Europe. We're potentially going to a final. And then we'll see what happens with the FA Cup right after that. That's the Sunday after the Thursday. So that's it. I appreciate anyone for watching. I hope to be making a lot more of these videos, and the set pretty lackluster right now, but we're going to work on it, and it's going to get better from here. So thanks for watching. See you guys.